Hello everyone, welcome to today's session of Content Designer China. Today, my name is Thomas Chen. Today we're going to talk about how to think like a product owner as a content designer and what it means and what difference it makes. So in content design, we always talk about empathy and clarity. But again, in the business owner sense, they always ask one question: what is the ROI? This is a real question when it comes to a high growth environment where product owners are always pressed to push out a lot of products and to bring in returns very quickly. So everything is driven by numbers and OKR. And again, if that happens, then the focus will less on content principles or design principles for writers or designers or traditional content design metrics like Flashman and King card, but again, will be more about what kind of difference we make for the business bottom line. If that's the case, it's very often that content designers may feel invisible, where everyone's talking about how to bring conversion, how to bring money in, while we talk about how to do the content better. In that case, it is not the end of the world. It is more like a change of mindset that we can do. So that is what I propose, thinking like a product owner. It is a time to always consider the metrics that other people look into, such as CVR, which is conversion rate, sometimes EFTD, what we call at Bybit, which is eligible first-time deposit. Again, there's also dropout rate and sign-up rate. And then also we can look into A/B testing, making hypotheses, and working proactively with UED and product teams to understand how to do things and how we can help the product together. So it is not something out of the blues, something that is revolutionary. Rather, it is framing the narrative to the product owners or management's language so that we can prove content and content design actually matter a lot. This is what we do in Bybit, and this is my sharing. A/B testing. A/B testing is not just a gimmick, but it also is a visibility tool. When people hear about A/B testing, people might think about, it could be something about ads, it could be something about social media, but actually no. A/B testing helps us translate qualitative improvements into quantitative signal and learning. For example, which tone works better? What excites our user? Or something like, it's also a shared language between content, product design, and leadership. So it is for storytelling, as we do as storytellers, how to tell the story of the content that is good to the audience internally. And it's also a chance for content designers to be proactive because we can prove what we can do, what impact we can make. Therefore, that will give us even more exposure and influence. But again, it's not about which copy wins. Rather, it's about how the user behaves and what clicks with their behavior. What are we trying to understand, and how are we helping users navigate UX, UI, and overall experience. So therefore, in a nutshell, A/B testing is a key for insights for copy effectiveness. And how does it play out in Bybit? From intuition to evidence, we're solving copy issues bit by bit. So before, with that implementation, there were rapid releases with a volatile market and constant demand for growth. In that regard, because everything's very growth focused, there are too many, the copy was too feature heavy and not enough to build trust and reassurance. It's very effective to bring out what the product does, but often taken straight from the PRD and haven't really considered whether the users understand that or not. And it's affecting our bottom line, such as navigation, CVR, revenue, and also intrinsic value like trust. In order to solve the problem, I came up with a few solutions. First thing was A/B testing, starting small from campaign landing pages, copy, or even just pop-ups. Version A is existing copy, such as being product first, information heavy, and written in the current, the pre-existing framework of being quick delivery. Version B is about conversational, proactive, while guiding users step by step. Or if it's more about conversion, we'll make things that more uplifting, direct, and firmware oriented. Now here are the results. Just by changing the copy, we were able to shoot up the landing page CVR to 6.1%. And for the pop-ups, we had a 37% increase of our click-through rate just simply by changing the copy. And this is what we learned. For top funnel tone, we learned that uplifting, direct, firmware-oriented, back my numbers is a winning formula. And then for the backend tone, something that's conversational, simple, navigation-oriented, and less is more, that is the backend winning formula. So again, this is not about what copy works, rather it's what clicks with the user and their needs at the particular journey stage. So again, it shows what users respond to, and with that kind of learning to share to different product owners, we're allowed to do feature testing. And it's also the same time, that's the first time that leaders saw copy being an influential business unit, and opens new doors for copy governance and also for product exposure. So you can see the difference here. Before, very reactive and no say about the direction. And afterwards, just by changing the mindset a little bit and changing the way we tell our story and how we test our copy, we were able to devise different copy tones and maximize conversion and put that into a repository. We also embedded into different product A/B test initiatives and had high integration with UED, branding, and product. So again, testing is just part of writing, not a post-launch decoration or not something fancy. It is part of what we do as content designers. These are the examples that I have. So this is the first batch of A/B testing that I did with my team. On the left-hand side, you can see the control, which is something more product-focused, maybe not very uplifting, something or too direct or too short. On the variant, it's more uplifting, more direct, more firmly oriented, and also back of our numbers. Again, considering this is more for the awareness funnel, something more uplifting, direct, and excites the user would help convert. And that's what it did. At the landing page conversion, also conversion through clarity. At the left-hand side, you can see that the copy is bunched up, jumbled, and very focused on throwing out what the product does or what the campaign does. On the right-hand side, however, the copy is more fine-tuned, it's more polished, and it's also written in a way that it helps convert people over to the CTAs. And the right-hand side version was the one that got a 61% conversion rate. And again, as I said, because of how we tell the story of A/B testing, we're given more liberty to do more. So on the right-hand side, you have one of our rebranding to be more uplifting and at the same time more lifestyle oriented. On the left-hand side, however, we have a more direct, more trading oriented, and more streamlined landing page. So this is part of our collaboration with the creative team in order to find out which version works better. So we provided a different copy, the different failure preposition, also brand storytelling, and we tested out as part of the whole A/B testing. This page contains the different examples we have by embedding ourselves into the cross-function teams. As you can see, there are different A/B testing that the cross-function teams are doing, and we embedded ourselves in it in order to provide the copy by understanding what the user wants and what the product wants. And therefore, by being part of that, we were able to help boost our conversion and also user experience. So at the end of the day, it is all about shifting mindsets, how to talk metrics and think like a product owner. So the iterations we did became the initiatives that we kept pushing. It changed how we worked for new product UX. It helped us embed ourselves in various product iterations. And then we also helped us measure everyday by OKR impact over time. So bit by bit, we're able to prove ourselves that we can contribute to OKR, and therefore we can make ourselves more prominent or proactive. But again, good ideas that are written down are not good ideas. So therefore, we had new SOP in place. By putting everything black and white, that everything's dedicated, everything's very clear. At the same time, with center excellence, having all the good ideas and winning cases, we were able to guarantee impact by being involved very early and also have something to fall back onto. And again, with great involvement, we were able to do even more. So for example, identifying weak spots, looking at different pain points and different journeys, and coming up with different hypotheses, keep testing, measuring, and we also did different things. Just like the rebranding example I gave, we were able to come up with different product taglines, coming up with different brand storytelling, and that became part of our jobs. So good content can convert as well. So it's not just about writing, it's about how we write and how we tell the story, and that's how we become more and more proactive. So now, let's start converting. As this is a pre-recording session, these are some of the questions taken from the floor during the live session. So one of the main questions from the live session was, how long did it take for stakeholders to build trust? It takes quite a while, actually. For example, when people are used to copywriters just being very reactive and not really helping, how do we build the trust? And we have to do it step by step. So first step I did in my job, I built the editorial style guide, making sure that people can see the difference between the existing copy and the reframed copy, and they can let them feel it. And also by the first A/B testing I did, just by embedding myself with the pop-up team, we were able to build a winning case. So with that in place, that's already a win. That's step one. Now, step two is bring everyone together. So for writing the SOP, listing what steps has to be done, and SLAs, how to make things clear. That already gives a lot of confidence. So just by being more proactive, having more wins under the belt, and showing that you're organized, that is how you slowly build the trust that you can also be organized and product driven, and that's how you kind of build the rapport. Question 2, how do you determine what to test and how to prioritize? That's a very good question. How to prioritize, that depends on the business needs. For example, if a particular product is being focused by management, that it has been pushed this quarter, probably that's a very good way to start, a good place to start. Or if there are different journeys that generate the most traffic, the most conversion, that's also something to prioritize. So again, it's based on the business needs, priorities, and also management needs. And how do you determine what to test? There are a few things to determine. First could be the blockers. For example, if you see the copy on the page that are very unclear and you hypothesize that people can't understand anyway. So maybe that it's good time to if by making the copy easier, it'll be easier for the user to navigate and convert. That's one. That's two. Two is you can look at the CMS in your company. Chances are you should be able to locate different pain points in journey where people drop off the most. So that's also a good place to start. Maybe looking at the Figma, you realize the copy isn't clear enough, or maybe the UI isn't clear enough, and then maybe changing that would help people convert. Again, it's not about just changing the copy, it's how you present the copy and how the copy resonates with the user's needs at the particular time. So what if control and variant gave similar results? That actually happened. For one of the landing pages we tested, it turns out that the control and variant were very similar. In that case, we can conclude that either you can test different things. For example, the length can be different, the tone can be more different, or maybe the value proposition can be different. Or you can determine that maybe it's not a copy problem, maybe it's a UI problem, maybe a UX problem, or maybe it's because the product isn't attractive enough. So that is something you can bring to the table and discuss with your stakeholders and see what change you can make. So thank you very much for this recorded session. My name is Thomas, and hopefully that brought some insight. So thank you again. Do connect with me on LinkedIn and see you next time. Bye-bye.